Hello everybody, this is Dago Seda, pretty snazzy walkthrough Resident Evil Code Veronica X. This is an A rank run. And by the way, I didn't actually mention it in the last video, but while I'm here I should probably talk about what are the requirements of an A rank run. Now, first of all, as it was in a lot of the older Resident Evil games, you have to beat it quickly. So fortunately, what this game does, the time limit they give you is really lenient. The time is like 4.5 hours. I actually beat it in like 3. It's actually it was almost the exact same time I got on my Resident Evil Remake walkthrough. And anyway, the other requirements are you can't save at all. Now, it's not as bad as it sounds. You're thinking, what? You expect me to sit here for 3 hours and just keep playing this game until I'm done? No. The game, Capcom isn't that evil. What it is you're only allowed to save at this one midpoint in the game. There's a midpoint in the game where they give you a free save, and that's the only save you're allowed to use. By the way, I should point this out now. If you're holding the lighter, bats will not attack you. And secondly, normal people love to store their handgun bullets in the toilet. Anyway, so, okay, you can't save except for that one free save they give you. Because you notice when you do that save, your save count on the load screen is actually going to read 0. So that save actually doesn't even count as save. That's sort of just the midpoint of the game. Now, originally, I was thinking, what? This is totally not even close to the midpoint, because there's way more stuff to do, but actually, based on the timings I got, it's actually is the midpoint, so don't, like, think like I thought, you know. Alright, this room is such a pain. Every single time in, like, my original run of this game, I tried to just run through this room. It's like, okay, I'm not going to get hit by these zombies. I'm just going to go through. I'm going to dodge them every time, get really good at it. No, it's actually those zombies are actually relatively hard to dodge compared to some of the other enemies in this game. So I recommend killing them, because in my first run through, I wasted a lot of healing items recovering from getting bitten a lot in that room. Anyway, so, and then the last 2 requirements is, 1, you can't retry, which basically that's sort of like you can't save, but there's a couple spots where, like, it's a boss fight and you're allowed to retry or something like that. So, like, they start you from a certain point, where retry is basically the same as loading, but you're not allowed to do that. But since you're not really saving anyway, it doesn't really matter. There's only one spot where the retry would actually, like, mean anything, but that spot I actually managed to pull it off pretty well in my recording, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so no retries, and then last but not least, no first aid sprays. Now, you might be thinking, what the heck, no first aid sprays? How am I supposed to heal myself? Yeah, there is so many green herbs and not really many red herbs, but there's so many green herbs in this game, it's not even funny. Like, there's literally one room in this game where there's just 5 green herbs lying around in there, and most of the time you'll see, like, a whole bunch of them just lying around. There's only about 5, maybe 6 red herbs in the whole game, and that one I just picked up earlier being one of them. But you really don't need them that much. Honestly, if you, like, just picking up the green herbs, you'll be fine. Anyway, so earlier when you went in this room, and if you tried to take the 2 gold Lugers that are on the wall, then the same thing that's happening to Steve right now is going to happen. And you're going to get trapped in there, it's going to be all hot and stuff. And I think you might die if you stay in there long enough. But anyway, Steve was a greedy idiot, and he tried to take the Lugers, and now he's trapped in there. And also I'm going to point out that you can equip those Lugers, but there's no ammo for them in the whole game. And somehow Steve finds ammo for it. I don't know how. Anyway, okay, that was a cutscene right there where Albert Ashford comes in. He's one of the main protagonist, I guess you can call him that. Actually, it's one of the couple instances in Resident Evil where he's a protagonist antagonist. Yeah, I said protagonist earlier. He's one of the antagonists that he doesn't mutate himself and you don't, like, fight him. But yeah, he's pathetic. Just there's this one particular scene where he does this really annoying laugh that I'm sure a lot of people would love to make fun of because it's just hilarious. He's effeminate. He's a stuck-up snob. He's like everything you don't want in a person. Anyway, if you notice under that table or whatever over there, there's a little shiny thing. Don't bother with that, because if you did what I did and remembered the code you type into that computer I used when I walked in here, then you won't have to get that thing that's under there. What's under there is basically just an ID card where you check the code and type in what you type into that computer. Anyway, so in this video we're kind of going to go to two areas at once because both of these are really short areas, and honestly, I really don't like making short videos. I feel like I'm like ripping the viewers off, I guess. I mean, then again, I don't really aim to please anyone. I mean, I make these walkthroughs specifically to please myself because it's an enjoyable thing to do, you know. But if someone's helped by it, I'm like, cool, I helped someone. Yay, I feel good about myself. But really, if someone's like, hey, you suck, I go, okay, I really don't care. I just had fun making this. And really, this recording, like recording Code Veronica, was probably one of the least stressful walkthrough recordings I've ever done. I mean, every walkthrough I've recorded has had some sort of stress involved in it. Like in Resident Evil 4, it was like that Krauser fight that totally annoyed the crap out of me. There was the room with the two claw guys and stuff like that. Yeah, Majora's Mask, it was the whole play for like 2 hours as a practice run, and then record for 2 hours, and then it's just like wasted huge chunks of my time. And that one was a total pain to record, but that ultimately I'd say is probably my greatest accomplishment as a walkthrough. Resident Evil 3, the whole Nemesis fight was a huge pain. Like the first Nemesis fight, it's trying to figure out the best way to do it. Though Resident Evil 3 was probably one of my easier ones. The remake, the whole thing with Rebecca and the piano. This one, there was really only one thing that caused me like any sort of stress whatsoever. And basically the only thing I can attribute that to is lack of practice, really. Because like a lot of the issues I had in my other walkthroughs was I know what I was doing, but I just physically couldn't do it. But this one thing, there's one part I really wasn't exactly as prepared for as I would have liked to be. And then I just said, okay, you know what? I messed up a couple times in recordings and lost a little bit of time in my life. But what I did is I went back and I practiced that specific part, and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then after, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And then this morning I went and just recorded the rest of it. I'm like, yes, there we go. Anyway, one tip I'd say if you're trying to get an A rank in this game, what you should do is there's like four or five like specific segments of the game that you should know about. Like there's this part where you're on like the island as Claire. That's like the first run of the game. Then the second part is Claire in the next area. And then it's Chris in this area, and then Chris in the next area. Basically, like use all those spots as like save right before all of those spots. So then what you'd be doing is say, okay, oh, I'm bad at this part. I'm going to go back and just practice through this part of the game. And it was actually really helpful. Like, there's a couple of parts I personally didn't really need it that much, but that one thing that I kept messing up on, it was actually a boss fight. Like, I saved right before that, and I just like, okay, I'm going to keep fighting this guy. I kept fighting him until I'm like, okay, I beat him almost perfectly like 4 times in a row. I can definitely do this now. Anyway, those zombies, actually, you didn't see them on that platform earlier, but whatever. Okay. Up there's some bowgun ammo, but we're not going to use like normal bowgun arrows. We're only going to use like the super explosive tipped ones, which we haven't actually gotten any of the ammo for that yet. In fact, we haven't even gotten the bowgun. But for the most part, you're only going to have to pick up 2 packs of bowgun ammo. Because one, we're not going to use the normal bowgun bullets. All we're going to do is going to make the explosive tip arrows, and because the way you make those is like you combine it with this like gunpowder and stuff like that. There's only, I want to say 50 shots of that stuff. So you can only find enough to make 50, and you combine it with the arrows and make the explosive ones. So you can only make about 50 of them in the whole game. So don't like go crazy picking up bowgun ammo and stuff like that, because you're really not going to need it. The bowgun isn't that useful, because eventually we're going to get an upgrade on the handgun that's going to make it one of the best weapons in the game by far. It's like, I freaking love using the handgun in this game. It's just, the handgun is amazing in this game, alright? Especially after you upgrade it. Claire's handgun is just fantastic. Chris is not so much. You'll notice what I'm going to do is when I play as Chris, I'm going to actually let him use Claire's handgun. And the first time I played the game, I'm like, you know, I really feel I should be using Chris's gun. You know, I feel like I'm cheating if I'm not. No, you're allowed to use whatever resources you want, alright? Getting this A rank should be your main goal, and if using something that feels unfair but isn't, just do it, alright? Like an A rank, it does require a little bit of endurance, yeah. Actually, like as I was recording this up, I sat down, I'm like, crap, I have to go to the bathroom. So, yeah, tip 1, before you start a recording session, go to the bathroom. Anyway, yeah, that green thing that was flashing out there, we're still not picking up. That zombie is really unfairly placed, but the cool thing is when you knock him off, you throw him over the edge, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, I think I get hit by this guy. Yeah, I do. Wow, this was like such a fail on my part right here. But anyway, so we're going into the next area of the game. This is the training facility, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.